Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mel, and this is a channel dedicated to financial growth, investments, and money management so you can make your best money moves. So if you're starting a new business or you just want to make some better financial choices, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos like this, and give this video a like for the YouTube algorithm so I can continue making these awesome videos for you guys. So if you're wondering why there's a random little skeleton, this is my little friend. I got him last year. It is Halloween tomorrow and I'm obsessed with Halloween. I want to have so many more decorations, but I'm on a budget. This is my no spend year, so I'm trying really hard not to buy extra Halloween decor. So a little backstory, I personally kind of have like an addiction to starting businesses. There's just something about owning a business that just makes me so happy. I especially love the startup process, getting everything set up and ready, planning everything out, especially the marketing. Like when I grow up, I want to be Jon Taffer. He's like my idol. I started my first business in 2014. It was a professional organizing company, and then eventually it just kind of grew into a full service interior design business. I loved the creative aspect of it. I loved doing all the marketing. I loved working with my clients, but at the time I was working on rebuilding my personal credit. And the financial aspect was really something that I didn't put a lot of thought and planning into, which ultimately led to some financial hardship, and I ended up just going back to working full-time as a full-time employee. And then since 2014, I had started a few more businesses, but I just kept having the same like financial hardships over and over again because I never took the time to work out the details of the finances for each business in the very beginning. Like profit and loss, ROI, these were all terms that I had heard of, but I just didn't really pay attention. Like I didn't pay as much attention as I should have as a business owner. But I learned a lot over the years about business finance, and I learned it all the hard way, like the hardest way possible. But I really want to make these videos for you guys because I don't want any of you to make the same horrible mistakes that I did. Also, I want everyone to know that this video also applies for MLMs. If you've been approached, especially during quarantine, about joining an MLM, make sure you watch this video in its entirety before you spend a dime investing into a new business. And I use air quotes when I say that because when you join an MLM, it's not really the same as owning a business. It kind of is. It's kind of this gray area, which, you know, for the actual like owners of an MLM, that works out to their legal and financial benefit, not so much to yours. So just a warning to anyone who's considering joining an MLM. Okay, so let's dive right in. Why does the world need my product or service? How is this going to help people or solve a problem people have? A lot of people, I think, get into starting a business just because, oh, it seems like fun, or I could work with my friends or family, or I can make my own schedule, and it's just, that's not realistic. When you start a business, it needs to be something that people want. Sometimes it's true, you make something or you create something that people didn't even realize that they needed or wanted, and surprise, surprise, they do. But for the most part, I mean, if you're starting a business as an investment, you are going to want to take a hard look at the profitability of this business. And in doing so, you know, it's supply and demand. If there's no demand for something and you're just doing it because you enjoy it, that's kind of a different topic than this particular video. This video is specifically about starting a business as for the purposes of investing. Like any business that I started, I always started because I either knew or I did research if it was something that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed organizing, and I loved cleaning and organizing and decorating, and surprisingly, most people don't like all of those things. Some people like decorating, but most people hate cleaning and they hate organizing, and it's just something that always came really natural to me, and I really enjoyed it. And so I looked into, is there actual demand for this? And every time I told someone in the beginning, before I really really committed to starting my business as an organizer, everyone would always be like, oh my God, I need you in my life. I need that. I'm so horrible at organizing. So it's really, really important that there is a demand and then you provide the supply. What is my execution plan to start my business? This is something that I kind of completely looked over when I started my very first business. I had started doing the services, but everything else, the financials, the marketing, even the kind of behind the scenes of the operations. Eventually at one point I did hire some like independent contractor type employees where they could set their own schedule and things like that, but they were technically, you know, I booked them for gigs. And, you know, all of those little details I didn't really take into consideration. I had no idea what my marketing plan was, or, you know, had no marketing budget. And that was really awful. You're gonna wanna ask yourself, how much money do I need to start this business? How long will it take me to save up? I actually have another video that I will link about saving up money specifically for a business. What is your financial plan? Are you going to need investors? How is it going to be working with investors? Are there going to be angel investors? You know, crowdfunding, all of that sort of stuff. How will I market my business? If you start to add up the amount of hours and the money that it's going to take to really start your business, you'll realize that this isn't really something you have the patience for. And it's better to find out now in the beginning before you invested time and money and your soul, rather than, you know, waiting down the line when have investors' money that you're going to need to pay back, and, you know, all this pressure. So really, really think about everything, and if it's going to be something that you really, truly want, and it's not just something that you're doing because it's trendy to start a business. Who are my competitors? This was something that I did do some research on in the beginning of my business, just because I wanted to do price comparing. I wasn't sure how, you know, when I first started, my prices were super low. I think that was a good thing. It really helped boost me up to not necessarily the top, but it just, you know, I was starting to get just word of mouth referrals because my prices were so low, and I did a really good job, and I had really good reviews from people. Sometimes setting your pricing can be very difficult, like especially for creative services, because there's just a lot of solopreneurs that either overcharge or they undercharge, and it makes it difficult to actually get clients if you're on either side of the spectrum with that. So you just have to know how to price for your product or service in your industry. And you have to know your target market very well and what they're willing to pay or not willing to pay. What are my competitors? pricing their services or goods at, and what are their customers saying about their services. People will pay more for really good quality service, customer service, really great products. If there's something else out there that's like kind of similar, but they have a better experience with, company A than company B, but company B charges less, like they're gonna go to company A, because even if they charge a little bit more, because that's what they're paying for, it is the whole shebang, not always just the product itself. Like when you go to a restaurant, you're not just paying for the food, you're paying for the ambiance, you're paying for the space, you're paying to, for the music and the service, like you're paying for everything. So really understand what your competitors are charging, and, just be smart about that. Or maybe you have kind of a unique product or service and there aren't a lot of competitors. So you just have to find something that's as similar to your product or service as you can, and then maybe start out with a lower rate, and then you can always raise the price as demand grows. How will I market my business? So if you've been following me on social media for a while, I say this all the time, but I don't think enough solopreneurs, entrepreneurs put enough time into marketing. You can save so much time and so much money if you plan ahead and have like 6 months to a year's worth of marketing strategy preset. We live in a world right now where social media is like the king. So basically marketing is free. Like back in the day, you always had to pay for advertising or marketing, for your business to look legit. And now it's like anybody can do it. You want to make it look professional and, like good quality, so people know that this is this a scam? But you can do it with little to no money. It's kind of awesome. Your marketing is going to tie in with your competitor and market research. Who is your target demographic and where do they hang out? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Twitter? Do they go to the mall and they're not even on social media? You need to do your research and figure that out. Wherever they are, that's where you need to advertise. So it's really simple. Don't waste your time and your energy trying to post on like every single platform. If you know your target demographic is not really active on Twitter, then don't spend your time there. You can make a profile, make an account on Twitter just in case people are curious, but I wouldn't, put a bunch of effort and time into that when your time as a business owner is very limited. Don't sweat the small stuff, as they say. So just focus on where your main target demographic is hanging out. If you can't afford to hire a social media manager, hire an intern just at minimum wage and train them to be, specifically how you want your content to be, and give them a guideline. Maybe you can't afford to hire anybody, so then just become a social media expert on 1 to 2 platforms, and then time block an hour or 2 of continuing education weekly, so you're constantly learning and growing about that platform, and then schedule another couple hours every week to dedicate to actually maintaining your business accounts. Hot tip: don't forget about Pinterest. Pinterest is a search engine just like YouTube. So people are typing in stuff on there and voila, your product or service pops up. So this is a really, really big one that I think slips people's minds sometimes. Will I have support from friends, family, and or my community? A lot of people worry about timing, which is very important as well, like, the timing of when your product launches and everything like that. But I also want to make sure that you have support from loved ones, because owning a business is not for the weak. You're going to need some emotional support, possibly financial support, and it's just really, really hard to do alone. I don't think I would have gotten where I got to if it wasn't for my mother. Like, I relied on her financially, but then I also relied on her emotionally, because there would be some months where, you know, the clients just, you know, no new clients or something like that. And it was just, you know, it's stressful. Like, what am I doing wrong? How do I fix this? And to do it all completely alone is super, super scary. And just kind of, it can be kind of overwhelming. If you have a partner, are they going to be supportive of your business? If you still live with family or your parents, you know, do they understand that they may need to be financially, you know, supportive for you for the next few years while you get your business up and running? Your business realistically will not make any money the first few years that you start it. So, you know, you may not have enough money to pay rent or a car payment or something. So they might have to take on that financial burden for a while. Maybe you don't have any friends or family. You're a single parent or a student or something, just where you don't have that support system. And which I've heard, you know, that happens a lot. And I think in that case, you really just have to find a community that you could be a part of, that you can rely on for emotional support. You might not maybe get the financial support unless they, you know, really love and trust you. But, you know, it's going to be really, really tough. And especially if this is your first business. But I'm not a big fan of Facebook, and I actually might be deleting mine. But what I do enjoy about Facebook is that there's a lot of really awesome groups with really strong communities, and you can find, you know, anything really, like whether you're involved with a certain kind of sport or, you know, outside of out of the home activity or whatever. Or maybe just your local community, like your neighbors next door and Patch are really great for, you know, meeting up with local activities and events and just getting to know people that live in your neighborhood. Social media, you can also connect with people really easily, and it's really awesome because when your business does launch, you'll automatically have a bunch of people who are first in line to support your business, and you know, they want to share along your journey and your successes. So now, if you've asked yourself all of these questions and you're still really excited to start your first business, then I say go for it. Starting a business is kind of like having a baby. You really need to know for sure that you're ready to make this commitment and the sacrifice. You should never start a business just because everybody, you know, on the gram is doing it, and they make it look easy. So it's like, oh, why not? There's so much more to it. There's so much behind the scenes that you don't see, all the non-glamorous parts that nobody posts about, because it's hell boring, but it's also super important. So what's your biggest fear about starting your first business? Leave your answer in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. And then follow me on Instagram and Twitter, just at Mel Hartley on both platforms. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.